Yeah, obviously a tough loss last night. Hard-fought game by our guys. Certainly thought the effort was there, especially in the second half. Coming out after halftime, knowing that we had some self-inflicted wounds and some turnovers there in the first half that we know we needed to take care of. And I thought the way guys competed and played there in the second half, we gave ourselves an opportunity, but at the end of the day, we came up short. And a tough way, to end that football game. But we got to pick up the pieces. We got a short week here before we go on the road against Northern Illinois, rivalry game, a trophy game, the Bronze Stalk. So, we got to get ourselves, moving full speed ahead here. We got to be on the practice field tomorrow, and we got to work tirelessly today to make sure we have a plan in place to get on the field tomorrow.
Yeah, Coach, so you guys just came from the coaches meeting, is that right?
Yeah.
What were you guys just kind of talking about?
Obviously, part of the meeting was, quick recap, obviously, of the game last night. We talked about scheduling for the week. That's the first time we've had a short week since 2021. We had a short week when we went from Wednesday night, to a Tuesday, but both those games were at home, so a little bit different. Certainly the team's different as well. That was an older team, more veteran team, but really just making sure that we have the best practice schedule laid out for the week to make sure we make the most of it. Some of it come down to injury report coming out of the game last night, which we ended up relatively healthy, which is a good thing. Normal bumps and bruises, but making sure that we can get the most out of it. Obviously, we're not going to be able to attack the practice field tomorrow like we would in full gear and go out and hit and all that stuff. We got to be smart that way, but just make sure we got the best plan of attack, to get our guys ready to play Tuesday.
Yeah, I guess going off that, I know you don't always know the injury stuff this early, but I know Ethan went down. Is that something that could be serious or something?
We'll wait and see on that. He's got some testing to still undergo with with an MRI and all that. So we'll have to wait and see what the results of that are. Obviously, he wasn't able to return to the game, due to the knee injury and all that. So we'll just have to wait and see what we get back on that. And obviously, it's a little challenging considering we're sneaking up on a weekend to be able to know. But he'll be out for right now.
Okay. And then from the game, one thing that kind of struck me was, I guess, Tanner's lack of involvement. I think he only had that one first quarter target and then nothing else. Any reason for that?
Well, we'd like to get him the ball. We don't go into the game saying, man, we don't want to have any targets for Tanner. Certainly a talented player, and obviously the last couple weeks, and obviously our offense has been more RPO, it's been more zone read, it's been more designed QB runs to try to take advantage of Kyle's skill set. But obviously we got a great playmaker, not just in Tanner, but some of the other guys offensively, and you always want to do a great job of getting touches to your guys. So we just obviously got to keep attacking that, but certainly part of the plan every week is to make sure we're getting the ball in his hands.
And just last one about the game. On the second to last drive, I think Kyle said that fourth down call was a QB run designed. I was just kind of curious about what the thought process was for that sequence.
Yeah, no, that's a play that's been good for us. We've run that multiple times throughout when Kyle's been playing. That's been a steady call for us in every game plan. And anytime you just as a philosophy part of it, when you have a QB run the ball, you gain an extra blocker. With a running back, you even up the odds when you're trying to block the box. And obviously with Kyle's ability with his legs, and he's a tough runner as well. I think you saw that on the 4th and 1 call when we were at home. And he scored the touchdown on that, just the effort that he gave in order to get that done. So when you call a design QB run like that, the first and foremost, you even up the odds because you gain an extra blocker with a back. And you put yourself in a better position to have success. So it really came down to that, and that's been a good play for us, and he's a tough runner as well.
So, and then NIU, right, what about their team? Do you guys evaluate? What is their identity?
Well, and obviously for me and for us, we've just really started attacking that process of watching the tape last night on the bus on the way home. The majority of that ride was spent watching that tape from last night, trying to grade it, trying to assess it, and then getting the plan ready to go for what this week might look like. So really just starting full speed ahead on Northern. Had a chance to watch them on TV the other night, but obviously their identity, their physical football team, they're going to want to run the football. They've been playing really good defense. So it's going to be a battle. We've had battles with these guys the last several years since I've been here. Obviously one possession games. I think the last 4 years and maybe even more than that. So we got to get ourselves ready to go. Obviously we're going to their place this year, and got to have a great week of practice. But Coach Hammock's done a good job, and certainly from an identity standpoint, they're going to be a physical, tough football team that's going to focus on getting the run game established, and they play stingy defense.
I would obviously assume these short weeks are tougher from a preparation standpoint, where you essentially lose 2 days, right?
Yeah, I mean, obviously today's a day, since normally we come in the day after the game and we're able to watch the film with the guys. They get a lift in. Obviously they get the recovery part started, but you got to give them a day off. And so getting back at, we got back in there 2:30, 2:45 in the morning. So we give them today off. Still got an injury check just to make sure guys are good to go, but today is technically their day off. And tomorrow, what would be a typical Monday, when they're off completely, we're practicing. So it's a little bit different schedule that way. And then, obviously we're getting on a bus on Monday to make a 4.5 hour trip there. So it's different that way. But the first part of the week is going to be compromised a little bit because we're so close to, being out of the last game. So we got to be smart going. Tomorrow will look tempo-wise kind of like what we call our Fast Fridays. So it might be an hour, a little more than an hour practice, just in helmets and soft shell shoulder pads. Can't do any banging, but we got a great mental period there with our team periods, because we still got to get scout team looks and make sure that we're giving our guys what to expect against Northern Illinois. So coaches will have to, it'll be a long one today and tonight, getting ourselves ready for practice tomorrow, but it is what it is. That's the schedule. It's not like any teams, you have a short week sometimes and you just got to get yourself ready.
For sure. About the coaches meeting, is that something that's typical of the day after a game?
Oh yeah, we have a staff meeting every day after the game. We go through obviously the injury report, make sure we see where we're at coming out of the game, and you talk through every phase: offense, defense, special teams, and most importantly, you talk about it. Not it's going to change the outcome of the game, but what do we need to make sure we address in practice? What do we need to look at from a personnel standpoint if there is any concerns personnel-wise, where perhaps we're going into practice with hey, we need to, this guy might be out, whether it's a case of an injury and we got to get these guys ready to go, or this guy ready to go. So that's typical every day after the game. That takes place. Just a little bit shorter today so we could get on to these guys, we can start attacking Northern Illinois.
I assume so. I just thought I'd ask.
Yeah.
As far as going forward, talking to Kyle last night, he just kind of wants to approach these last 3 games as continuing to develop and grow under center. I mean, he's only started 3 games there, and he wants to continue to do that. Is that kind of how the team is approaching these last 3 games?
Well, listen, there's a lot to play for. I want to make sure and emphasize that. There's been a lot of talk, or perhaps this or that floating around, that we're not bowl eligible. There's a 5-7 team that made a bowl game last year. All we can do is focus on controlling us, bringing our best stuff. I like the effort in which we're playing with. Quitting or any other option is simply not an option. We got to come in here and we got to continue to lay it on the line for each other. I believe our football team will do that. We got to lay it on the line for the seniors, because there is no guarantee. Every one of these young men has dreams and aspirations to play past college, but the reality of it is, after your senior year of football is over, that might be it. That might be the last time you ever play a football game. And we want to make sure that we stay true to each other. We stay true to the man sitting in the seat next to us. Give it everything we have, because anytime you have a chance to put on a uniform that says Ball State, anytime you have a chance to put on a helmet that says Ball State, and you got your name on the back and there's a lot to play for. And we don't want to take 1 second, 1 game, 1 opportunity for granted. We want to make sure that we're allowed to travel with 70 in the Mid-American Conference, and we want 70 to be on that bus. But if there's not 70 young men that are committed and thinking that way, then we'll take 65 or 60, whatever it takes, to make sure that we have everybody working in the same direction.
For sure. Given the fact that you have a lot to play for, and these guys are going to be playing hard for the last 3 games for the seniors or for themselves, what are you kind of looking for out of the team as far as a development standpoint?
Listen, the only goal we have every week is to win. That's it. I don't think about development. I don't think about, obviously, guys have been practicing, guys have been playing. There's good things that show up on the tape. There's things that need to be fixed. that are on that tape. That's no different for anybody that's ever played the game of football. So our only goal is to win and put a game plan in place to give our guys the best chance to go execute and win. And we got to have a great week of preparation. Even if it's a short week, it's got to be a great week of preparation where the focus is where it needs to be, where the attitude is where it needs to be, and where the effort. That's all I ask from every guy every day, man. You control your attitude, you control your effort, okay? And then obviously after that, it's trust. You got to trust what your coaches are asking you to do, and we got to go out and have a great week of practice and preparation to have a chance to go win.
Yeah, I guess just lastly, the thing that we were talking about last night with the turnovers, felt like some of those self-inflicted wounds could have been prevented. What are some things that you're hoping to work with on the offense to kind of prevent those things from happening?
Yeah, 2 turnovers in the first half. Both of those led to touchdowns. Obviously, the fumble there by Kyle when obviously we had the first down conversion on a designed QB draw there, and he got the first down. He did a great job with that, but he got loose with the football at the end. They punched it out. Just can't happen. You know what I'm saying? If that continues to be a trend, then obviously, you know, the reality of it is that he won't be playing. You know, that's just the reality of it. Obviously, we threw a swing pass that we've thrown a gazillion times, but he threw it behind the line of scrimmage. And obviously, it wasn't located where it needed to be. Coop would have had to make a tough catch, didn't. The ball was on the ground. Instincts didn't take over, like, oh, shoot, it was that a lateral. You got to get on the ball, no matter what happens. Those 2 led to touchdowns, and we cannot turn the football over and expect to be consistent every week and win games. Great, guys battled. We put ourselves in a position last night, but to give up, you know, a short field 2 times, and both of those resulted in touchdowns, that has to be eliminated from the script in order for us to have a chance. I don't care who it is, what player it is, any of that has to be eliminated to have a chance to win.
And I guess just, is that the biggest takeaway that you've taken away from this team this year is the resilience? Because, I mean, you brought that up a lot.
I mean, again, I keep saying it all the time. As a human being, man, the one thing that you control is your attitude and your effort. If you quit, nothing good's going to happen. If that's your attitude, that's your approach to it, nothing good's going to happen. So that's not even an option. Don't let that be the case. Life ain't easy either, okay? When you're done with football and your playing days are over, you're going to be doing something work-wise, raising a family, raising kids, whatever it is. That's not just going to be smooth. So when something happens and it's not great, what are you going to do, quit? No, that's not an option. So you figure out a way to get through that, to battle through that. That's the only way to attack it head on. And I just encourage all guys. So losing stinks. It's never fun, but there's life lessons every single day in everything that we do. And each guy's got to absorb those moments, good or bad. Know that moving forward, I'm going to be a better human being, a better man, a better player, better for my team because of it.
For sure. Hey, Coach, just real quick, can you clarify what you're saying about the bowl eligibility? Because I just want to make sure I didn't put any misinformation out there.
Well, listen, all I can say is I'm not giving up hope. And when I meet with our team tomorrow morning, we're not going to give up hope. Last year there was a team that was 5-7 that made a bowl game. It comes down to APR after that. If there's not enough 6-win teams to fulfill all the bowl slots, then there's 5-7 team that could make it, but it comes down to your APR. That's the number 1 criteria on the list after that. So again, all I'm trying to do is make sure that I do the best I can for our football team in the position I'm in. Don't ever quit. Don't ever give up hope. All we can do is take care of us, and then it's in somebody else's hands. But that doesn't change what our goal is. We're just trying to make sure we go 1-0 for this week, and we got to have a great week of preparation here, even if it is a short week, to get ourselves right.
Okay, thanks. I wasn't aware of that, so.
Yeah, yep. Okay, thanks, guys.
Thanks, Coach. Thanks, Coach. First of all, man, I know we talked to you last night, but anything that, after you had sleep and woke up today that you just kind of reflected on, good or bad about the game yesterday?
Man, just those 3 plays on defense, bad communication, missing tackles, and allowed them to score on those 3 plays. It just hurt us all in all, and the outcome of the game.
Coach, he was just talking about kind of keeping you guys motivated moving forward. I know the coaches can say that, but, as players, as leaders, what are you guys kind of talking to each other about to kind of how you want to approach these last few weeks?
Well, we got, out of the last 3 weeks, we got 2 trophy games, so I think that's motivation on itself. Like, just because we might be out of bowl competition, that doesn't mean that our season is really over, and we still have two trophy games, 2 MAC trophy games to, finish the season off with, and that'll be nice to keep these trophies. We'll get the Redbird Rivalry Trophy back and keep the Ron Stock here.
So yeah, you got one this week. I know it's still super early in preparing for NIU, but what do you kind of know about their team and their offense?
They got a good quarterback, Rocky Lombardi. He's been there for a couple years. He's a great playmaker, good quarterback, hard to bring down. They got a receiver, his last name Rudolph. He had a 75-yard screen in the snow last week against Central to help them try to come back. So they got some playmakers, they got some dogs out there, and it's going to be a hard-fought game.
Anything the defense can do to try to generate some more turnovers? Because obviously, you win the turnover battle, you got a good chance to win.
Yeah, I mean, really just spade of the game for real. If it happens, it happens. Like, it's a mistake on the offense part, and if the offense is really making too many mistakes, it's kind of hard to come by. But I think we can do more, better job, like second man in, punching at that ball, trying to make sure we get some more fumbles on the ground or something, because it's run heavy in the last couple games of the season always.
Yeah, it's good, cold, right?
Yeah, foot-to-foot football.
Kind of in these final 3 games, what is the defense's mentality?
Stop the run. Just try to stop the run, keep the points down, and get the ball back for our offense.
Do you feel like recently it seems like you guys have been doing a pretty good job of stopping the run?
Well, I mean, we let a 54-yarder go yesterday, but all in all, I think we have been doing a better job. And I think after that Georgia Southern game, we took it, like our D-line took it upon themselves that they were going to get knocked back and wreak havoc, and the linebackers were just going to fill these holes that the D-line are creating for us.
Yeah, obviously those big plays aside, just in general, it seems like you guys have been doing a good job. And Coach talks a lot about like the strain on the D-line's faces and the linebackers' faces when they're rushing the passer or the person carrying the ball. How do you get to that point where you're giving like 100% effort on every single play?
It's engraved in our minds, because ever since the start of camp, Stock preaches, yells, screams, relentless effort, relentless effort, relentless effort, and that's just how we practice. And every day, if you're not giving relentless effort, it's just, you're not going to flip it on in the game. So if you're not doing it in practice, it's going to show in the game. And I think Coach Stock did a great job beating that into our heads this season.
Do you feel like he's been a pretty key person in your development this year?
Most definitely. Coach Stock, he believed in me. We got a good, you know what I'm saying, good history, good little background. I've been in and out of his room for a few years, and he drives me to be like the best person I could be, and he won't settle for anything less. And if I'm not being at my best, he'll let me know, and he won't care how I feel about it, and I appreciate him for it.
I can't remember if it was you or someone else, but someone said it was kind of like a big brother relationship.
Yeah, that was me, because he ain't that old. Yeah, he about 33 years old, and he ain't too much older than me. So yeah, it's like a big brother relationship for real.
Yeah, I thought that was you. I guess just you've had some of these quick turnarounds before. I know you didn't have one last year, but when you have only 6 days to prepare for a new team, what's that like? Is it tougher for you?
On the body a little bit, but I try not to think of that. Try to stay ahead and with the treatment and prehab and all that, but just try to get as much film as possible, because you have that one less day. Try to get a little bit extra film in. Really, the only difference, just trying to get your body back and make sure you're well prepared, since you don't have that extra preparation day.
And I know yesterday we talked about, you mentioned guys like Sydney and Damien and Red. Did you have any conversations with them last night?
Most definitely. I cried on Sid's shoulders yesterday, telling him I'm sorry. I talked to Aldrick Mowry, just like letting them guys know like I'm sorry, and they're just like, season ain't over with. We still got 3 more games. We got 2 trophy games, and those are the guys that just like bringing me up. Like, it's not your fault. It's not our fault. We all could have done more in different points of the season to keep it rolling, make sure we were in contention for the MAC championship or a bowl game. But them guys kept me up, and they've been keeping me up the whole season. And I'm so grateful to be on the team with them older guys. Appreciate y'all.
Thanks, man.
Let's go.
Obviously, the offensive line this year was a big selling point going into the season, something that coaches and players were excited about, and you're a big anchor on there. How do you feel like the offensive line has adjusted to Kyle under center?
Yeah, no, I think we've adjusted well. Obviously, when you have a guy like Kyle, as explosive as he is, it helps in all aspects of the game, because they just have to respect his running ability. So it's helped us a lot, I think.
Does your role on the offensive line change at all with a guy like him at quarterback?
I don't think the role really changes. I mean, at the end of the day, we're all going to go out there. We're going to all do our 111 and play as a team, plays an O-line as a unit well. But no matter who's back there, we're gonna go out and do our job.
Yeah. When you guys are an RPO heavy offense, I guess as an offensive lineman, are there any conversations that Kyle and Coop have with you guys to make sure that everyone's on the same page?
I mean, just going through a normal week of prep, there's always different little things with whoever we're playing. So there's for sure just little adjustments every week.
Yeah. And obviously we don't really know where Ethan's at. I know he's still doing testing, but say he were to go down and all of those things, what do you think the offensive line's mentality is without a key piece like Ethan?
Yeah. Obviously, losing Ethan would be a big blow, but hopefully he is healthy. But we're yet to hear that back. But Brandon Malco's been able to step up for us big time. He's a great player as well. So we're gonna stay together. We're gonna keep going, and we'll be all right.
So you felt like that transition last night was relatively good?
Yeah. For obviously, you don't want anyone to go down or anything like that. But I felt like Brandon played well.
Yeah. And, I was just talking with Keionté about what the rest of the season means, and you're a veteran guy. You're a redshirt senior, so I believe this is your 5th year.
Yeah.
Say it could be your last, we don't know yet. What's your mentality in these last 3 games?
Obviously, just like you said, we have two trophy games left still, and we have a lot to play for. I still think just the 2 trophy games, playing for the guy next to you, and obviously, God's blessed with the ability to play this game. I don't think anyone going out there and not playing with your best ability would be ashamed to do that.
And do you have another year of eligibility?
I do have one more.
Okay. Obviously, I'm not going to ask you what your decision is or anything, but have you thought about it potentially being your last year?
Yeah, I mean, I got a lot of thinking to do still. I haven't made up really a solid decision yet.
Right. And I guess just lastly, from the offensive line standpoint, I know running the ball has been a key for this team all year, and then especially since Kyle's taken over. Do you feel like you guys are finally starting to meet that goal that you set for yourselves?
Yeah, I mean, I think we've been running the ball well, and obviously I'm an offensive lineman. I love running the ball, so I think we've been playing good.
For sure.
Do you feel like the offensive line unit as a whole or I guess what's your assessment of the performance throughout this season? Because it seems like you guys are playing better of late than you were a little bit earlier.
Yeah, I would say, in my opinion, obviously I'm biased, I think we have the best offensive line in the MAC. Just the depth we have and the starting 5 we have, I think we're the best in the MAC, and with the players we got, I think we're a solid unit.
Do you feel like it's improved though?
Through the course of the season? Yeah, just like any season. Obviously you should be better later in the year than you are at the beginning, just because you've practiced more, you've played more, you're more prepared. So yeah, I think we've gotten better.
What do you know about NIU's defense and their, I guess, front 7?
Yeah, obviously we're familiar with them. Obviously, gonna start watching some more film on them this week, and then but yeah, we're familiar with the personnel and everything going with that. So be ready to play for them, play against them.
And then I guess last thing, just the experience of last night playing in a night game on national TV. Just what was that experience like for you, especially? I know you guys didn't come out with the win, but it was a very competitive game.
Right. Yeah. Playing night games always cool. Especially when it's action and everything. The eyes are on you. It's a cool experience for sure.
You talked about just having a familiarity with NIU. Does that help when it's a week where you only have 6 days to recover?
Yeah, for sure. Obviously, six-day week, it's a little bit harder on the bodies, but when you're playing a team that you're familiar with, it's definitely beneficial than playing one you're not as familiar with. Yeah.
I think that's all I have to. Thanks, Aaron.
Yep. Thanks. Yep.
All right. Thanks, Damon.